Welcome back, Mike. How you doing today? Busy day yesterday, I'll bet, huh?
Good morning, and yes, indeed, my phone is still flaming.
Start off with some numbers. I saw earlier for Caddo Parish, it was like without power, 30,000 plus. Bossier, 20, 25,000. You've got the figures. Fill us in.
Yeah, we're looking at SWEPCO total over 109,000 people still without power this morning. In Louisiana, that's about 105,000. If you break it down, Shreveport, we're right at 40,000 without power, and Bossier City about 13,300 without power.
What's the estimated time of restoration? And please don't say that September word.
Well, unfortunately, the first estimated times of restoration were released late last night, and it shows for Shreveport it is Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. For our Valley region, which is Stonewall south to DeRidder, it is the following day at 10 o'clock. Now, that's first estimate, and I think that you'll see those probably begin to be revised and cleaned up by later this afternoon as crews are able to get out and actually begin the assessment work or finish up the assessment work and actually begin repairs.
Mr. Mike, let me ask you this, because this is really getting to a point where it could be dangerous to go 5 days in 98, 100-degree heat. For some people, it could cost lives. Y'all take that in mind, I guess, huh?
Well, certainly we do, and we can't work 24 hours a day. Our crews have to have adequate rest time, and frankly, it's just not safe to work at night. And with the kind of work that they're having to do, they can't do that in the dark. So out-of-town crews began to arrive yesterday. I got several reports from folks who said, "Hey, I see electric trucks. They're not SWEPCO. They're out in my neighborhood." And I had to remind them that that's a good thing. That's exactly what you want to see. But by mid-afternoon, we should have well over 2,300 out-of-town workers here in our area working. There are miles of electric line down, miles of many trees and tree limbs down, and we're rebuilding our electrical grid in Louisiana.
Mr. Mike, you said a couple of seconds ago, and Aaron brought it up about online. You can go to September 2nd, and people see that. And you saw Facebook last night, I'm sure, and folks are kind of freaking out and yelling at you. Explain to me and everybody, to try to make us feel better, a little bit at least, the process, the priorities. How exactly is an electrical grid rebuilt?
I'm glad you asked that question. That's a good way to clarify things. After the storm passed yesterday and the winds died down enough that we could send crews out, we began to address emergencies and public safety. We had electric lines on poles. We had electric lines in trees that were blocking roadways. That was priority one, get roadways cleared safely. Then we began on public safety to make sure hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, any place that is an immediate life or death situation, to get their power restored. Both Shreveport, Bossier, and many other communities had issues at water plants, sewer plants, and sewer lift stations. And, cities generally don't have backup generator power for those type of locations. And so we worked well into the evening to address that and keep sewer from backing up in folks' houses. And we'll continue that this morning. But today we will get into the residential areas very heavily, and those areas where we can bring a lot of people on by making a few simple repairs, we will do that. And then those areas where the grid has just been completely destroyed, we'll begin setting poles, running new wire, and making the connections that are necessary.
Miss Aaron, one more. What you got, kid?
Mike, I would like to ask you, can you pinpoint the hardest hit areas if you had to?
I don't have that information just yet, but I can pretty safely say, our neighborhoods that traditionally are very heavily wooded, lots of trees, lots of overhead canopy. Those areas that have electrical service through a back alley or through the backyard where trees are quite heavy, they were certainly hit quite hard. But to be honest, it is widespread.